Good afternoon, everyone. Two major model runs came in overnight, showing significant snowfall potential for the eastern United States. The European model and the GFS model, both pointing toward the same general time frame, mid to late January. Let's examine what the data actually shows. This video runs about 14 minutes. First, I'll walk through the current weather pattern and why we're seeing this shift. Then we'll look at the specific model outputs for the 15th through the 19th. Finally, practical information for those of you in the affected zones. No speculation. Just the data from the National Weather Service and the major forecast models. Right now, temperatures are running well above normal across much of the East Coast. 70s in Virginia today. Mid-50s in the Mid-Atlantic. This warm pattern continues through the weekend. But that changes next week. The pattern shift we're seeing involves a ridge of high pressure building over the western United States. This is what meteorologists call a positive PNA, positive Pacific North American pattern. When you get strong, high pressure in the west, it forces the jet stream to buckle. Cold air gets displaced southward into the central and eastern states. We've been watching this setup develop for over a week now. The question wasn't whether we'd see cold air. The question was whether we'd see moisture connect with that cold air at the right time and place. Let me break down what's happening day by day according to the models. Tomorrow, Saturday the 10th. Thunderstorms continue across the deep south and southeast. This is normal when Arctic air tries to push into warm, humid air. You get instability along that boundary. The upper Midwest and Great Lakes region already seeing snow by Saturday afternoon. Sunday the 11th. The Arctic air arrives in earnest for the eastern United States. Full-blown ridge in the west. Deep trough in the east. Temperatures dropping 30 to 50 degrees compared to what we're experiencing this week. Many of you remember similar patterns, the blizzard of '96, the polar vortex of 2014. This setup has that same general structure. Whether it produces similar results depends on the details. Tuesday the 13th into Wednesday the 14th. This is where both models start showing significant potential. Moisture streams northward from the Gulf of Mexico. Arctic air continues pushing south and east. The key is whether these two features connect. As of the 6 a.m. Eastern model run this morning, both the European and GFS models show that connection happening. Let's talk about the 15th and 16th first. The GFS model shows low pressure developing near the Florida Panhandle. This tracks northeastward along the coast. Heavy snow potential from the Carolinas into Virginia. Some model runs showing 10 inches or more for parts of North Carolina and Virginia. The European model has this system a bit further offshore. Still produces snow for the Mid-Atlantic, but lighter amounts, more of a glancing blow. Here's what you need to understand about model differences. The GFS tends to track systems further south and east in the long range. Then it adjusts northwest as we get closer to the event. We've seen this pattern repeatedly over the years. The European model is often more conservative with coastal storms. So, if I had to make a judgment call on the 15th, 16th time frame, I'd say the Carolinas and southern Virginia have the highest probability of significant snow. The Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, it's a watch situation. Could go either way depending on the exact track. Now, the 18th and 19th. This is the signal both models agree on strongly. Low pressure develops over the southeast. Moves rapidly up the east coast. Both models show this affecting areas from Virginia northward through New England. We're talking about Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, the entire I-95 corridor. The European model has the low pressure bottoming out around 984 millibars off the coast. That's a strong system. The GFS shows it even deeper in some runs, into the 960s near New England. Snowfall totals on these model runs range from 8 to 16 inches for much of the Mid-Atlantic. Potentially higher amounts for interior New England. Blizzard conditions possible for coastal New England if this tracks as currently shown. I want to be very clear about uncertainty here. We are still 6 to 8 days out from these potential events. The exact track of a coastal low can shift 50 to 100 miles. That makes the difference between heavy snow and just cold rain for many locations. The National Weather Service will have much better clarity 72 hours out. Right now, what we have is strong model agreement on the pattern. Cold air in place. Moisture available. Systems tracking in favorable positions. On a scale of 1 to 5 for confidence, I'd rate the overall snowy pattern as a 4. The specific details of individual storms, that's a 2.5. Maybe a 3? Let's talk about what happens after the 19th. The GFS model shows a brief warm-up for the southeast around the 21st and 22nd. Low pressure over the Midwest pulls warm air northward. This would bring rain to areas that just saw snow, typical for late January. You get these back-and-forth swings. But then both models show another Arctic blast moving in around the 24th and 25th. Lake effect snow goes into high gear over the Great Lakes and interior Northeast. We're talking about the kind of lake effect that can drop 2 to 3 feet in the snowbelts over a few days. Of course, the 25th is extremely far out. I mention it only because the long-range pattern looks consistently cold. That's unusual. Often these models flip back to warm after showing cold in the medium range. Right now, they're not doing that. Looking at total precipitation for the period, the western United States stays very dry. That ridge just deflects everything. The east gets multiple rounds of precipitation, some as rain in the south, increasingly as snow from the mid-Atlantic northward. Total snowfall projections. The European model shows the heaviest amounts for the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and then a corridor from Pennsylvania through New England. We're talking about 20 to 40 inches for the period on that model. The GFS model favors areas a bit further south, the Carolinas, Virginia, then up through the Mid-Atlantic and New England. Similar total amounts, just distributed differently. For the Ohio Valley, both models show you getting caught in between systems. You'll see cold and probably some snow, but not the blockbuster amounts. That's the trade-off with your location. Sometimes you win, sometimes you're just on the edge. Now, practical information. I'm dividing this into 4 zones based on what the data suggests. Zone 1, the deep south, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida. You've already moved past the worst of this. Temperatures back into the 40s and 50s after this weekend's cold shot. Some areas might see a brief wintry event on the 15th or 16th, more likely freezing rain than snow for most of you. The main impact is going to be morning ice on bridges and overpasses. If you're driving Monday or Tuesday morning next week, give yourself extra time. Black ice forms even when the road looks clear. Zone 2. The Carolinas and Virginia. You're right in the crosshairs for the 15th-16th system, potentially also the 18th-19th. If you haven't checked your snow removal equipment, do it this weekend. Make sure your generator works if you have one. Stock up on basics. Not because this is the end of the world. Because if we do get significant snow, especially wet heavy snow, power outages are possible. For those of you with elderly neighbors, check on them before the storm. Make sure they have what they need. Many of you already do this. I'm just putting it out there. Zone 3. Mid-Atlantic. Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. The 15th-16th system probably misses you. Too far south. But the 18th-19th looks like your event. This would be Sunday into Monday of next week. If this verifies, you're looking at significant travel disruptions. Airlines will start canceling flights Saturday or Sunday if the forecast holds. If you have travel plans for that weekend, monitor this closely. Don't wait until the last minute. For those of you who remember the blizzard of '96, this has some similarities. Fast-moving, coastal low, rapid intensification. The difference is, '96 had more moisture to work with. This system might not reach those levels. But it's in the same family. Zone 4, New England. Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Both systems could affect you. The 18th-19th looks like the main event. Potentially blizzard conditions for coastal areas if the wind picks up as forecast. Interior New England, you might see the highest snowfall totals of anyone. The models show some areas getting close to 2 feet from that one system. Then lake effect adds to it later in the month. If you heat with propane or oil, make sure your tank is filled. If you have a wood stove, stock up now. Don't wait until 2 days before the storm when everyone else has the same idea. Some of you are thinking, we've heard this before and nothing happened. That's fair. Long-range forecasts bust all the time. The atmosphere doesn't read the models. But here's what's different this time. We have strong agreement between multiple models. The European, the GFS, even the Canadian model shows similar patterns. The pattern is being driven by a very strong ridge in the west. That's a persistent feature. It doesn't usually just disappear overnight. The uncertainty is in the details. Does the 15th-16th system track where the GFS shows it, or further offshore like the European suggests? Does the 18th-19th storm intensify rapidly, or does it stay weaker? Those questions get answered as we get closer. 72 hours out, the National Weather Service will have high confidence forecasts. Right now, 6 to 8 days out, we have reasonable confidence in the pattern. Moderate confidence in specific impacts. One more thing about snow removal. Don't try to clear everything at once if we get a major storm. Take breaks. Every winter we see heart attacks increase during snow shoveling. If you're over 60, consider hiring someone, or ask family to help. Snow will still be there in an hour. Your health won't wait. For those of you with snowblowers, make sure you have fresh gas and oil. Old gas from last season causes problems. Change the oil if you haven't used it yet this year. Check the shear pins. Have spares on hand. When everyone else's machine breaks down during the storm, you want yours working. If you lose power during heavy snow, don't run a generator inside your garage. Carbon monoxide kills people every year during winter storms. Run it outside, at least 20 feet from the house. I know most of you know this already, but it bears repeating. I'll have updates on this situation every day through next week. The models run 4 times daily: 6 a.m., noon, 6 p.m., and midnight Eastern. Each run gives us new information. Monday and Tuesday next week are critical. That's when we'll see if the 15th-16th system is real or if it slides out to sea. By Wednesday or Thursday, we'll have solid information on the 18th-19th potential. Check back tomorrow afternoon. I'll have the latest model runs broken down. Same format. Data first, then what it means for your specific area. Remember, this is based on forecast models and public data from the National Weather Service. For official warnings and watches, visit weather.gov. They're the authoritative source. The pattern is changing. That's not speculation. That's happening. How it translates to snow at your exact location? That's what we're watching. Stay informed. Don't panic. Prepare sensibly. I'll see you tomorrow with the next update.